66 million years ago, the sun rose over what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. It looked like any other day in the late Cretaceous period. The air was thick, humid, and rich with oxygen. The oceans were warm. On the shores, a herd of Edmontosaurus grazed on ferns, while in the shadows of the tree line, a Tyrannosaurus rex watched, waiting for a mistake. For 160 million years, this had been the rhythm of the world. Predators and prey, life and death, a perfect, brutal balance. None of them knew that this Tuesday would be different. None of them knew that the sky was about to betray them. High above the atmosphere, a rock the size of Mount Everest was hurtling through the vacuum of space at 45,000 miles per hour. It wasn't making a sound. Space is silent. But the silence was about to be broken by the loudest noise in the history of our planet. It didn't start with a bang. It started with a light. A second sun appeared in the sky, brighter than the first. It grew larger and larger until it wasn't just a light anymore. It was a wall of fire descending from the heavens. In that final split second before the impact, every creature looked up, and then the world ended. But here is the terrifying truth. The impact itself didn't kill most of the dinosaurs. If you were far enough away, you survived the crash, but you wouldn't survive what came 10 minutes later. Welcome to the minute-by-minute timeline of the apocalypse.
Minute 0. The asteroid strikes the shallow waters of the Gulf of Mexico. The energy released in this single moment is equivalent to 100 teratons of TNT. That is more than 1 billion nuclear bombs detonating simultaneously. The asteroid doesn't just crash, it vaporizes instantly. The bedrock beneath the ocean is liquefied. The crust of the Earth is punched open, creating a crater 110 miles wide and 20 miles deep. In the immediate blast zone, nothing remains. Not fossils, not bones, not even dust. Everything is simply erased from existence. The heat at the epicenter reaches 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than the surface of the sun. The water in the Gulf of Mexico doesn't just boil, it flashes into steam instantly, expanding with explosive force. Millions of tons of Earth's crust are blasted upwards, punching a hole straight through the atmosphere and back into space. These rocks, now molten and glowing, are ballistic missiles. They will not stay in space. Gravity will pull them back down. But we will get to that horror shortly. Right now, the Earth itself is ringing like a bell. Seismic waves magnitude 11 or higher ripple through the planet's crust. Ground motion is so violent that it tosses dinosaurs into the air like rag dolls. Even on the other side of the world, in what is now India, the ground shakes violently enough to trigger massive volcanic eruptions. The planet is being attacked from the sky and from within. Hour 1. The silence has returned to the impact zone, but only because there is nothing left to make a sound. However, the shock wave is now traveling across the globe. A blast of air moving at supersonic speeds flattens everything in its path. Trees in North America are snapped like matchsticks. Any animal standing within 1,000 miles of the impact is instantly killed by the pressure wave alone. Their internal organs rupture before they even hear the sound of the explosion. And then comes the water. The impact displaced so much ocean that it created a mega tsunami. This isn't the kind of tsunami we see in modern times. This is a wall of water nearly 1 mile high. Imagine standing on the coast of Texas. You look out, and the horizon lifts up. A mountain of dark, debris-filled water reaching the clouds crashes onto the continent. It doesn't stop at the beach. It surges hundreds of miles inland, carrying whales and sharks into the middle of forests and dragging dinosaurs out into the deep ocean. The sedimentary layers of the Earth are ripped apart and scrambled in a chaotic mess that geologists can still see today. But for the dinosaurs living on the other side of the world, in Europe or Asia, the sky is still blue. They felt the earthquake, yes, but the sun is shining. They think the danger has passed. They are wrong. The worst is not the wind. It is not the water. the true horror is just beginning to fall from the sky.
Hours 5 to 10. This is the global broiler event. Remember the millions of tons of rock and debris that were blasted into space at the moment of impact? They have been orbiting the Earth for the last few hours. Now, Earth's gravity pulls them back. Trillions of glass spherules, tiny beads of molten rock, begin to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. As they tear through the air, friction turns them into shooting stars. But there aren't just a few. The entire sky, from horizon to horizon, is filled with them. The friction from trillions of falling rocks superheats the atmosphere. The sky turns a terrifying blood-red color. The air temperature at ground level begins to spike. It rises to 200 degrees, then 300, then 500 degrees Fahrenheit. The atmosphere effectively turns into a giant pizza oven. Forests across the globe spontaneously burst into flames. It is not a wildfire. It is a global firestorm. For the dinosaurs, there is nowhere to run. The air itself is burning them. The T-Rex, the Triceratops, the mighty Ankylosaurus, their thick skin offers no protection. They are being cooked alive from the inside out. The panic is absolute. Herbivores stampede blindly through burning forests. Predators ignore their prey, running side by side with them, united in a desperate, futile attempt to find cool air. But there is no cool air. However, amidst this hellscape, a tiny miracle is happening. While the giants burn, small creatures, our ancestors, are doing the one thing that saves them. They are burrowing. They go underground, beneath the roots, hiding from the heat. The soil acts as a shield. Above them, the reign of the dinosaurs is turning to ash. Below, the future of mammals is waiting, trembling in the dark.
Hour 15. The fires begin to die down, not because they were put out, but because there is nothing left to burn. The global temperature begins to drop. The re-entry of debris has stopped, but now a new curtain falls over the stage. The smoke from the global fires, combined with the dust from the impact and the vaporized limestone, forms a thick, impenetrable blanket around the Earth. The sun is blotted out. By hour 24, the first day is ending, but the dawn will not come tomorrow, or the day after, or the year after. The planet is plunged into a deep, choking darkness. Photosynthesis stops immediately. The plants that survived the fire now begin to wilt and die from lack of light. The food chain collapses completely. The large herbivores who somehow survived the heat now face starvation. The carnivores will feast on the carcasses for a few weeks, maybe months, but eventually the meat will rot and they too will starve. The era of monsters is over. The silence that follows is deafening. The mighty roars that once shook the prehistoric jungles are replaced by the sound of wind whistling through skeletal trees.
75% of all species on Earth were extinguished starting that day. It was the end of a world, but it was the beginning of ours. If that asteroid had arrived 20 minutes later, or struck the deep ocean instead of the shallow, sulfur-rich waters of the Yucatan, the dinosaurs might still be here, and we would not. We are the descendants of the survivors, the burrowers, the scavengers who endured the heat and the cold. But it makes you wonder. We have satellites and telescopes watching the sky, but space is vast and dark. If we were to face a day one like this tomorrow, if you had just 1 hour before the shockwave hit, what would be your plan? Would you run? Would you hide? Or would you just watch the show?
I want to know your survival plan. Leave a comment down below with exactly what you would do in the first 60 minutes. The most strategic answer gets pinned. If you want to understand more about the fragile history of our planet, check out the links in the description for some incredible books on the Chicxulub impact. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Ancient Predator Zone for more deep dives into the dark history of our world. Until next time, keep looking up.